Okay, folks, we are here after a hiatus, lack of communication. But we have arrived for episode 87, the final episode before the Special Conditions Cup. And as such, probably aren't going to be seeing much out of the folks who have cars in that ready for that championship, because they're kind of in the middle of getting them ready for it. Today does technically bring the unofficial introduction of the Dirt Division as its own standalone class, akin to the 600, 640, etc. categories that already have existed for a while now. And we were originally looking to bring it back the 500 class in some way, shape, or form, but we were just like, that didn't really get a whole lot of people before, is the problem, so we elected to forego that. But, it's like we couldn't really gauge much interest. However, the thing with that is because of the Special Conditions Cup being next week, there is no dirt race in this episode, so while the dirt division, or the dirt class, now exists, there is no race for it in this episode. But there will be 5 other races in this episode, and we shall start with, well, obviously the first of them. Your dream for the first race of the week. Trial Mountain plays host to what might be a bit of a lengthy one here. 640 class racing, so the laps here will definitely clock in at well more than 2 minutes each. I think we're looking at probably 9 minutes here in this race. And we are on board with Connor Nazang in his modified EK9 Civic. He's already made a pretty decent start. He's currently 3 wide with Francesca Ferranzi and Natsuki Murashi. Natsuki's definitely a loser there. And she just runs straight to the back of Francesca. Probably trying to compensate for the time she lost. She was stuck on the outside lane. And that's damaged both of their cars. Connor is using the whole racetrack and uses that to get ahead of Reiko Mishima and Emi Ibarazaki, who has actually reset her car design after Atomic Blonde Racing folded. She's now back to her original design, which is supposed to look like a JTCC livery from the early 90s, even though that was actually on a Honda Prelude, not Integra. Or no, it was a Honda Accord, not a Prelude. It was on an Accord because that was before the Integra even existed. It was like 95 or 96. Zhang tries to sneak his way ahead of Barbara Page, heading up the hill. Doesn't quite manage, but still alongside, outbreaks the Corvette into 6th place. He's only completed a singular lap, and he's already into almost the top 5. And he will be in the top 5 as Zed Essex has to pit for damage. Not really sure what he took the damage from, because nobody else went in behind him. Alright, Barris Haneo on the exit of the slow basically zigzag. Might out-drag Harada. Be a difficult ask. Now he actually will, though. And easily outbreaks Rebecca. Well, even Harada did. Rebecca just took turn 1 and 2 very, very conservatively. Connor is all alone now to try and track down Mika Harris, who has made quite a bit of a gap in just about a lap's time. About 5 seconds of the lead to remain, and that might be shrinking now. Also, apparently the laps are not as long as I thought they were. If the first lap was 2 minutes 10 for Mika, this race will probably be around 8.5 rather than full 9. Briggs is catching Tetsuya Harada behind the Camaro's superior horsepower. but the run is stalling out as we head into the higher gears. So Tori's also had a really good run thus far, seeing as she started in 18th, she's now up in 8th. Not quite as swift of progress as Nazing has made, but still a lot of progress nonetheless. Harada apparently got taken by both Hanyo and Rebecca. Oh, I think he just sensed the dive bomb coming from Rebecca and just took that S really conservatively. And Hanyo just followed Briggs right on through, I guess. Mika Harris is within Connor's field of vision, but that's still a decent ways to go. I think Forber made a bit of a mistake under braking. She got into the back of Hanamura. At least that's what the contact crews say. I mean, one is front damage, the other is rear. It kind of pieces itself together. That lead just got shrunk by about 3 seconds as Connor's rapidly closing in on that Mustang. And he is really pushing that car through the little S section there. It's completely leaving the rest of the field in the dust. I do generally believe, though, that the Mustang will have the advantage in a straight line, and so it does. Actually, Pizza Boy's top, that's like his nickname. People have been calling him that since he's still a pizza delivery driver when he's not racing, which is most of the time. He only does 1 or 2 races a week. He doesn't race weekends, but he works weekends. So this is purely for sport here. He's not in this for any kind of money or anything because he already has a wage. Mind you, with the way that America's employment world is nowadays, extra money is never a bad thing. And turning results like he's currently working on will probably help pay the rent. Yes, that was a economical commentary in the middle of a racing video. Deal with it. I don't even have a page or anything that I just heard from everybody else because internet. Briggs is still having a bit of a problem with Harada, and Hanyo has just made her escape plan ahead of the Camaro. He's kind of catching up to these two a little bit. As Connor thought he spotted a chance, but he could close that door. Still searching for an opening on the Mustang driver. Just tantalizingly close. Now Mika's wide there, but it might not matter. Well, it will a little bit. He's going to force Connor off his usual line, but a crossover from the Civic. But the Mustang just has too much horsepower. Slipstream might do a little bit, but I don't know if it will do enough. The Renault Clio looms in the distance. He's topping out now, and the Mustang has still got more. The Civic's lighter, so down the inside it goes. Later braking. Job is not yet done. Mika's still got half a car there, but she takes the S conservatively. Probably gives, I mean, she was trying to give Nazing a line. I think she gave him about like 8 lines. And that allowed him to just cruise to the lead unresisted, more or less. And to the lead he shall go. And now just 2 more corners left to navigate for the Sim. Mika offers no resistance into the final braking zone. And the lowly Pizza Boy is going to get himself his first Challenge Series victory here at Trial Mount. Mika Harris remains second. Haneo Koizumi ends up third, pretty much closing that entire gap by the end of the race. And once again, Briggs has to try and outdrag the Subaru to the line, and she will just barely do so to grab P4. Harada has been just all over her back bumper this entire race. Just could not make it happen. Kotori gets 7th from 18th, and I think I see how that happened, because 8th place was Francesca Ferranzi, who, as you may recall, had damage on lap 1, and she managed to end up 8th, probably just leading the cars that took damage, which is not a good indicator if this many cars took damage. Yikes. Anywho, even Barbara herself didn't recover nearly that well. Kind of makes you wonder what Francesca could have done if lap 1 was clean, but I don't know why I said Barbara. No, actually, no, I mean, she got damaged. She ran into the back of somebody else, though. The person that hit Francesca was Natsuki, who did even worse yet, 18th. But on to round 2. And the second race of the week is a go. The 600 class goes to Tsukuba Circuit. It's a pretty popular location for it. 8-lap race, so another kind of stacked race length here. You know, Concertina under Team 1. This probably is... No, not probably. This is definitely going to be in the 9-minute range. Even if the other one wasn't, this one will be. I've never noticed that. I know that's supposed to say Hornet High Class, because I've seen the car this is based off of, Daytona USA, but it just looks like it says Hornet High Ass. Like, how did Kazuma never notice that? It's not much better on the other side of the car either. How does that sneak through the design, unless that's intentional, but Hanamura doesn't really take me as the guy that would make a joke like that. Especially not on something as important as their livery for a car as they race. As Alexis must have taken a bit of car damage during that turn 1 gridlock. You know, I'm looking at Hanamura there, but that camera looked like it was focusing on Mulsanne. Now it's, now it's clearly on Silvio. He's currently stuck behind as Mulsanne and Sodakov fought for a position. He'll end up beating the pair of them coming out from underneath the Dunlop Bridge. Oh. And he's rear-ended Rise and doesn't seem too happy about her choice in braking zone. Good camera shift there, good lord. I mean, I can certainly see it. I mean, I understand, like, you kind of tend to brake at the end of that little green patch there. I'm assuming that's what Hanamura was intending to do, or something like it. But then somebody put a 208 there. That's the wrong button. I missed the correct camera. Oh, okay. Ow, Jesus! What the fuck? Okay, so unsurprisingly, Rise has damage from that. She kind of moves to the left. Probably Kazuma thinks she's just trying to take the racing line. But no, suddenly then she just changes lanes. You can see Kazuma's there in her mirror, and she doesn't ever unturn. And, he's still there. finally he's released from the grip of her 208, but by that point he's kind of out of control. And also apparently that pit marker there is a solid object, which he then promptly runs into at 60 miles an hour. Get a better camera than that. I don't know if that's a better camera than that. Come the... There we go. Yeah, with how old that S13 is, I mean, yeah, sure, they basically mass-produced those things, like frickin' Hershey's candy bars back in the 90s, but still, or even late 80s, rather. But still, that's not going to be easy to find a replacement front or anything for. I mean, that's suspension, that's a front bumper, that's probably a good chunk of engine damage looking at the telemetry here. You could find maybe you could just, install aftermarket suspension, but good luck with the rest of that. A new engine for a car from 30 years old? 30 years ago? Good fucking luck. And we are green from the Hump Day race here in week 87. Another standard fare affair. That sounds dumb. 675 class racing at Fuji Speedway as we have an absolute clusterfuck into turn 1. We are on board with Ryusei Taniguchi. No, Takahata, the other TA. It doesn't help that I'm looking at Michiko Taniguchi and Hikari Taniguchi here. And then further up the order we have Kazuya Takahata and Akira Taniguchi. It's just, it's a mess. Apparently Kazuya has more brothers too. Brothers and sisters. And I have yet to meet them. They all drive as aggressively as Kazuya. I don't really know if I want to meet the rest of them, to be perfectly honest, but you didn't hear that from me. He's built me around a couple of times. There is also one debuting driver, Alice Marguerite, well, I say formerly. No, she still is. She still works at a Volkswagen assembly plant in Volkswagen. A Volkswagen assembly plant in Germany. Not in Volkinger, because that's like an actual city in Germany, but no. I don't remember where it was. I want to say it was Stuttgart, but... Stuttgart! Or however you say that. You'd think I'd know how to pronunciate something German. I'm like 1/3 German. My brain has shut off. I took like a small break to listen to a song in between recordings, and my brain just like, oh, music! What the hell's a commentary? Anyway. Maybe I shouldn't listen to music from another language before trying to commentate in my own language. It's probably not helping. But anyway, Alice Marguerite, she is she works in an assembly plant. It's one of those weird older assembly plants where things are still done at least partially by hand, and Alice is apparently pretty good with her hands. Take that as you will, but she has a lot of dexterity and hand-eye coordination, not anything else that you might be thinking. And in her spare time, she draws up designs for interesting concept cars that she wishes Volkswagen could make. And eventually, she made basically this. The Golf GTI Supersport, a crazy four-wheel drive Golf, which I kind of like to imagine is like the second coming of the Golf R32 models from days of old. I say days of old, I mean, yeah, it was like 2 generations ago, because the 4th and 5th gen Golfs were the last 2 to get them. The only 2, actually. But anyway, enough stalling. I'm kind of making up for lost time since the last race was only 2 minutes. And I say lost time, it's actually gained time, and I'm trying to fill the episode a tiny bit, so that's why I've paused to go over this. Excuse the fuck out of me! Nice save. little bit of a wall tap, but the drift skill in Michiko allowed her to mostly recover that. Okay. And same thing with Tai. Oh, yep, there's a Camaro there. I'm beginning to open mouth and sort of flitter on what I had said about Kazuya. You know, the whole, if his brothers and sisters drive as aggressively as he does, I don't know if I want to meet them. Answer, yes. Yes, they do. And, yeah, I mean, that was my indication right there. This Yo gives him a bit of a piece of her mind, even though he didn't hit her. And, yeah, that was my other indication. Just straight up turns me going into a hairpin. And, yeah, that was great. Loved that. Absolutely fantastic time to be had by all. You know, at this point, the racing has become a distraction from my game's work. And that's not helping, because, you know, this is just going to turn into more fucking work later. Beyond that, I don't know what else he does. Yep, alright. Turns Logan around. 540 off of the wall. Ikari says, what is a track hazard? I'm just gonna blow right through here, and his sister follows through. Okay, so you pass her normally. What? Is he just like a feminist? No, because he hit Michiko first. Okay, so scratch that. Why does he act the way that he does? Obviously, he's not gonna turn his brother. I would fucking hope to God. Yeah, no, passes him cleanly-ish. Alright. And around goes Akira. And his brother gives him a bit of a bumper. Alrighty then. Bit of family drama. I mean, I know Kazuya is not the biggest fan of Akira, but I imagine even he's just like, yeah, no, we don't wreck people here. And it kind of gives Ryusei a bit of a reminder of that fact. Okay. Dumb bitch. Are you gonna hit her again? Oh yeah, you get angry at her brother, so you take her out instead, I guess. Is that your reasoning? You are not gonna be here for very long, I can assure you. I didn't know exactly what he did. I thought maybe he just locked the brakes when he hit me. I didn't see anything else. This is no brake locking. This is just pure spite. And he's not even doing it in like slow corners or anything. These are like on the straightaway. The other driver's just making them look slightly less intimidating and less dangerous than they are when they get spun. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Kazuya, in spite, you know, almost as if to spite how his brother's driving, makes a aggressive but clean pass on Alice. And Ryusei just blasts right on by. Even gives his brother a bit of a tap there. I guess he did door him earlier. Blood's supposed to be thicker than water, but right now, I don't think so. You both got it there, Weisenheimer. Your car is four-wheel drive. There's no excuse. Oh yeah, passes Nidori just fine. And then ass-packs Nico. Sending her into the back of Nepgear, and he hits her again. Surprise, motherfucker. My brother in Christ, have you heard of the word throttle control? That's 2 words, but ignore that. No. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. I guess they call him Frosty because he's always driving like he's on ice. Do you need spikes on your tires? Or studs? Or whatever they call them. Yeah, okay, that's Nepgear fine. Some sort of nepotism. Is it just like an enhanced version of Kazuya's preference for GTRs? Kazuya, I know, is a thing of like, if you're not driving a Nissan Skyline, you are worse than me. I'm beginning to wonder if Ryusei doesn't look at it as, if you're not driving a Nissan Skyline, you're dead to me. Or he had his way, dead, period. And he attempts to just kind of box Barbara off the racetrack. She just kind of no-sells it, gets on the third day, but loses 2 places as a result. 3, because Nepgear. Oh boy. Be on your guard, Kotori. Christ knows. Yep, alright, good job. You failed. Yep, alright, good job. You failed. I'm still ahead of you. I guess you just probably keep flinging himself at her until one of them has crashed. Oh, it's gonna be fucking him. See you later. Kotori was, in fact, on her guard. Oh, Jesus, that was loud. Yeah, he went to turn her at the exact same time, but Kotori was ready and just kind of gave him a shoulder check. And probably a DNF too, if I had to guess. Yeah, she just, he goes to turn her, but she moves up. That's 110-mile-an-hour impact directly to the dome. I think he got whacked so bad the telemetry's not even showing damage. It doesn't even know what to calculate, because probably his entire car is wrecked. Oh, it's still go... You... He's damn lucky I wasn't really anywhere near that. I just kind of got here, and I just saw... I guess I probably should have put 2 and 2 together, but I just kind of didn't. And now his car is destroyed. But we kind of just sort of decided to race it back to the finish line and just call it at the end of the 4th lap, since that was probably the length that they should have been in the first place. And so Kotori, after having basically stared death in the face and lived, she will be your winner here at Fuji, with Barbara 2nd and Nepgear in 3rd, as Barbara just outdrags Nepgear while Kotori crosses the line to take the basically yellow and checkered flag, NASCAR style. And the 4th race is green. We're here at Lago Maggiore with the 715 category, and well, I would say hopefully we'll have a cleaner race than we had last time out. I mean, that wouldn't take much to be cleaner, but I don't think it's going to be exactly a spotless race, considering who we're on board with here. Really stupid, I mean Stuber here on the Focus driver. He starts last. It's Cayman. Everybody files through Sector 1 of the track. The Porsche is going to lack some straight line speed heading towards the long corner here, as Jeff Barham is making a new racing line up ahead. Somehow manages to keep that from going around. 4-wheel drive probably needing up some assistance in that regard. Most of the field, 2x2, heading towards the, or heading through the S's and towards the infamous bank turn. Trademark. Not really. Yeah, I just had a trademark on the term bank turn. Just because that's what I call it, it's not the official name. I don't really know what Riley did there. I remember seeing that in my mirror, so I was just ahead of this. And I know Thrasher had a bit of a walk up here. He had more than that, he had an entire spin, and I think Riley was so paranoid That she just took all the way to the sand to avoid it. And I mean, I guess, like, she did avoid it, yeah. There wasn't much to avoid. Only ones really affected were Thrasher and Liza. But, like, I mean, that wasn't even really driver error or anything. That was literally just his Mustang had a really fucking bad landing there, and it just gave up. He gets elbows out on Kilgore. Take on Marvin Manuel. Put myself in the top 5. He squeezes me like a kicking sponge, but I don't care. I'll out-drag the stat line with ease. Myself into 5th. I don't think the Porsche Cayman will have the same amount of simplicity in making an overtake, though, as he lacks the horsepower of a Viper. That said, it is a Skyline, so it's not exactly going to be pulling away from me either. Skylines at this level don't really have the most horsepower compared to other cars. They make up their time in cornering grip. As Billy shoots the outside of Levi Meyer, that'll become the inside, and he is off into P7. His next conquest will be Marvin Manuel, who goes defensive into the corner. This will be turn 5. Pretty much also turn 6. They kind of blend together a tiny bit, but I think it is technically a 6th turn there. If the little tiny kink going up towards the first real hairpin of Red Bull Ring is turn 2, then that's turn 6, really. Having said what I had said, Billy ends up just out-dragging myself and Ryan Wolf with little issues. Meanwhile, his teammate Stephanie is in the sand. And Jake is attempting to track down his former teammate, Tyler, who's clearly not too shaken by what happened last week, but I can only imagine what's coming next as Billy makes the move for 3rd. And he's getting ever closer to the same person that he had wrecked in the previous week at Spa. The headlines are just about to write themselves, pretty much. If not the headlines, at least the commentary is going to write itself, pretty much. It's better run off than Scarborough, but that Mercedes is going to have plenty of horsepower, as well as Tyler's slipstream. They meet at the apex of 1. About as, going about as anticipated. Billy cannot get the exit off on the outside lane, but he keeps a splitter there. Down the inside he goes through turn 3. Jake gets a splitter there, and he attempts through 4, but he can't get anywhere. Ah shit, here we go again. And yeah, in kind, Billy Stuber just boxes Tyler right out of the way, and gives him some rear end damage for good measure, which will probably set Tyler back a good ways once more. I overheard the argument that they had at Spa last week, and I can only imagine Tyler's about ready to make a junkyard ornament if he gets back to that Porsche. Shouldn't be too hard since the Porsche did more damage to himself than he did to Tyler. But it doesn't seem to be mattering thus far. Meanwhile, in the background, me and Ryan Wolf continue to battle for 5th place. He kind of tried to force me onto the inside curb, but he actually forced himself off, trying to adjust his line to defend from me. He went too wide up the S's, and although my Viper had some arguments, I got 5th away from him. I think Tyler might just be accepted at this point that he might not be catching Billy today. His rear end damage Seems to be slowing down a bit. As you can tell, he's creating a bit of a train behind him, and he has to pit for that. He doesn't trust the stability in the Corvette to hang on. Meanwhile, other Porsche driver who's a little bit less aggressive today, Stephanie Kaiser, moves herself into P2. And it would not be a sight if these two battled for the win. After, I'm sure Stephanie probably watched the way that Billy took the lead in this race. Somehow, I doubt she was very impressed. Stephanie is pretty difficult to impress as is, I should fucking know, and driving the way that Billy did on the previous lap isn't exactly how you do it usually. She's there with them. Should have the performance advantage, but she's taking the S's kind of conservatively, whereas Huber, despite its suspension damage, is pushing like it's going out of style to try and get a lead. He might be scared of Stephanie. He probably knows what's coming to him if he, lets go too much. And I sort of caught up to this train, but it was just kind of a day late, $1 short, all things considered. I wasn't going to get the third or much less second or the win in a handful of turns, so I just kind of saw fit to just kind of hang out there and see if Stephanie maybe Jake maybe tried something, but it didn't really pan out that way. So, by one means or the other, Billy Stuber is going to head out of the last turn, take a victory at Lago Maggiore. His teammate Stephanie is right behind him, and I think Germany 1-2-3 as far as cars go, with Jake Mercedes taking third place. I end up fourth, and Ryan Wolf is fifth. So 2 or 3 Germans and 2 Americans make the top 5 in this race taking place in Italy. Yeah, go figure. And then if that wasn't enough, then we have Levi Meyer representing Germany, even though he's from Switzerland. Barbara is also from Germany, and she was 8th. Kilgore is American, he's 7th. Danvers is American. Oh my... How many not Germans or Americans were in this race? We have Subiseki, Sasaki, and Hakure Manuel. That's it. Wow. There were 20 cars in this race. 16 of them were either from America or Germany. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them from America. So almost half the grid from America in an Italian race, or a race in Italy. I don't know what's more shocking, but I think I'm actually more surprised by the fact that there weren't more Japanese, because that's actually the majority in the Challenge Series, is Japan, not America. America's close second, but Japan has a slight edge. And then third, I think, I have reason to assume it's Germany after this, to say the least. The roulette race is green for 87, the final race before we get into the Special Conditions Cup. And it is very foggy here at Dragon Trail. A bit of that seaside moisture is in the air. It's kind of like equal parts fog, mist, and haze. How appropriate since Aaron Humphrey is here with this weird license plate that literally says haze. And we are on board with one Tyler McIntosh as he's managed to repair his car. It was very quick. I say he. I don't think he actually did it. I think his team did it. But nevertheless, the Corvette is fixed. No debuting drivers. The only new driver this week is Alice Marguerite. However, we do have new vehicles. Tetsuya Harada is maybe slightly jealous, as he has brought his new Wabai Impreza. And the reason for this is simply because he's converted his He's converted his 22B Impreza back to the rally car it was meant to be, and he's leaving that in the dirt class. He, alongside Sami Rantanen, will be participating in the Special Conditions Cup with those previously mentioned, the 22B, and then also Sami's Evo 5. So he has an Evo 3 to take the Evo 5's place in the 675 category. So that'll be interesting. They are 2 out of only 4 people who currently own a dirt class only vehicle. The only other 2 being Noir has apparently prepared a vehicle herself, but she has not told me what it is. And then also, I believe Saeed Al-Zaman is committing full-time to dirt class with his Toyota Tundra. Kind of makes sense. He races in Dakar. He's going to be a little more interested in off-road racing than on-road. I heard there might be a 5th soon, but they will not arrive until after the Special Conditions Cup, which is kind of unlucky. But then again, debuting in a championship can be a very harrowing idea for a lot of drivers. Also, the other debuting car, Jake Downey has found quite a vehicle. I'm not sure how he managed to naturally evolve from Honda Integra to Pagani Zonda R, but he has. I guess my best guess is this must be something from the Burnout World Tour. I don't really know how that series works, but my only idea is that this is based off of something, or it's just taken directly from that. This is a 750 class car that's actually nerfed from factory spec to run in the category, or just in the Challenge Series as a whole. It's running, I believe, 93 on the power restrictor and like a 60k ballast. Tyler makes a bit of an error trying to push to get ahead of Ellie. Oh my good lord above. And I think if you and I look at the leaderboard, I think we might both know why he's pushing. Even though he's got 10 minutes of racing. I don't think he wants to wait if he doesn't need to. As JJ West, 750 class PRZ GT300 is making his way through the field. Okay, for it, says Brandt, and just screams ahead of Nituri. Tyler will do the same at a more reasonable pace, and easily outbreaks the S13 for good measure. But yeah, Billy Stuber is back. He apparently has not yet been dropped from Porsche AG. I don't really know how, but I suppose it takes one to know one. That entire team has been full of troublesome people. I've run into Stephanie before. I know Liza had definitely a bit of a mean streak for the longest time, well preceding her time here in the Challenge Series. And it's actually only during her time in the Challenge Series has she actually begun to mellow out at all. At least that's what I've been told by Eric. Rest in the back of Billy Stuber. The cornering grip will be in his hands. Although his power advantage may not be as much as you'd expect it to be, since he is in a GT300 car, and his downforce will be dragging him down a fair bit. And the slipstream that came in might honestly break even, but it doesn't matter because JJ West gets to try to run out of turns anyway, so... And then here comes Tyler McIntosh. He's taking turn 1 flat. He's not really leaving much margin right now. Even less margin, he almost straight up misses T1, or the real turn 1. That little pink is turn 1, but the first real corner is the first left-hander there. Uses all of the track in turn, I guess, 4, by Red Bull Ring logic. I mean, that corner is actually a legitimate corner you have to think about in some cars. Most cars, really. Only because Tyler's pushing this Corvette so hard that he was able to have the nerve to take turn 1 completely flat out. He's made quite a substantial gain in the S's. I would be very surprised if we don't see a bit of, shall we say, an attack heading against Stuber. I almost said Brandt. No, Brandt did not do anything very good. He's German. Again, the Germans are taking over. Kaiser, Brandt, Stuber, Barbara, they're all here again. Well, Brandt wasn't in the last one. You get what I mean. There's some contact. Honestly, I almost didn't even look like that's what Tyler wanted to do, because the Dutch chicane is just likely to wreck him. That was just probably a difference in cornering speed, because he looked like he was just taking that super quickly. Oh, but yeah, nope, that was intentional. That's a takedown. And they're probably both stuck in the gravel. And considering that's... oh, God. Yeah, mechanical damage. Sure, replacement parts for a Porsche Cayman are going to be easier to find than an S13 Silvia, but especially for the factory team that built the very car he's driving. But I don't really know if he's earned a repair considering what he's done in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, so here's the funny thing. That's a lot of engine damage, not even from hitting the wall, but from getting hit by Tyler at high speed. What was his speed of impact? Let me just kind of analyze this collision here. About 120, 125 miles an hour, right into the back of Stuber's car, which spins him out. He takes a second smack into the rear bumper at about 50 miles an hour on the guardrail and like barrier here. That's damaged Billy's engine because guess what? He's in a fucking Porsche, so his engine's back there. Yeah, basically 125, right up Billy's just caboose. About a 50-mile-an-hour difference, pretty much. There's the engine damage, because, yeah, the engine's back there, but in the Corvette. This Corvette's also been engined, so the engine's not at the front. Therefore, it is safe. The front suspension is absolutely fucked up, but the engine is fine. Also, it's a brand new Corvette. So getting a new engine, getting a new Corvette, not that bad. And then even as we get to the outside wall, not only is their momentum basically halted because they hit the sand, but Tyler manages to basically hit it with the left front of his car and soften the blow pretty much using Billy's door. How appropriate. This all started because Billy dive-bombed into Tyler's passenger door. And now this ends with Tyler parking it up against Billy's passenger door as they're both stuck in the gravel. But something tells me we're going to see one of these cars in episode 89, but not the other one. And that was a red flag because there were 2 cars stuck in the gravel and debris was on the track, but nobody wanted to continue the race, so Jake Downey was granted the victory with his new Pagani Zonda R. Barbara Page was second, and JJ West third. Technically speaking, because of where he's positioned on the racetrack, Billy is going to get the category win over Tyler. Technically, although Stephanie is right here, as is Brandt. Not much... Actually, when does the race technically end? Okay, no, never mind. Right there. So, actually, on a recount, Brandt is the winner because that's when the red flag is thrown when the recording runs out. So Brandt is your winner in the category, Kaiser second. Tyler tried to drive forward to get ahead of Billy, but it didn't work. Nitsuri wins the 675 class. Francesca wins the 640 class, and there were no 600 class cars in the running. So there you have that. But yeah. I believe that spells doom for our favorite arrogant little punk boy in the Porsche Cayman. I don't know what Porsche AG is going to do from here, but certainly his car is not going to be doing much of anything.